And one thing interesting we do with our stress shoots, like I say,
so let's talk about that.
Yeah, everything is graded. So we don't, because so let's say we keep our classes really small because our thing is quality over quantity. So the most people we have in a class is like 8 people.
It's the same for us at the gym.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Exactly.
And we have 2 to 3 mentors there at a time. We always keep at least a 1 to 3 ratio from mentor to students because I feel like I know all the different kinds of training I've gone to. When there's a ton of students and very few SMEs, it's not very fun. You're not getting any one-on-one attention. You're basically just doing drills at that point. And a lot of times I see in a lot of higher end classes, you pay like $800 for a 1-day thing.
And you got 30 people.
And there's one badass dude.
Right.
And there's 30 people. And it's like, you talk to him twice. And that's the last thing we want to do. But anyways, so what we'll do is for the stress shoots, they're graded on simply your performance of engaging the target and we usually use barricades with them because we usually put in barricades and stress shoot and mobility together.
Okay.
So we set it up where we'll have 3 to 4 mentors there at the class. And then like in this last one, they had to run 200 meters through the snow to their first barrier, which that sucks.
That's a long way.
There's something about when you're running in the snow, it's like your whole body's contracted because you're bracing in case you fall, but you're still running hard. It's like a whole body workout. Anyways, they get there and you don't know we have a ton of steel targets at our range. You don't know which ones they're going to tell you to engage. Could be 50, could be 200 meters, 300 meters, whatever. We already taught you how to use the barriers, how to control your breath, how to properly do this with the trigger.
Right.
So all we want you to do, we don't put a rush on it. He'll say, hey, shoot target 13 twice and target 12 twice. And we're not grading you on, you got to get it done in 3 seconds. We want the people to approach the barrier, do what we taught them, which is take a deep breath, look at your cover, see how you want to assess it and use it properly. Gather yourself because you're stressed.
Well, yeah, while your heart rate's up, right?
Gather yourself, get set in a good position, nail the target twice, move on to the next one, nail the target twice. Then he says, move. And then you move on to the next one. We'll have 3 or 4 stations like that. And then we'll usually have the guys do 2 or 3 rotations. So it's not on a, did you get it done in 60 seconds type thing? Or we're not even comparing everybody's time. We're just taking notes on your execution. So, okay, Scott came up to the barrier. I told him to gauge these targets. He did the proper kneeling technique that we taught him for this height of a barrier. He nailed his targets. 10 out of 10. I don't care if it took you forever. I mean, okay, maybe if you're there for too long, it's like, all right, bro, come on.
You're holding up the line. Yeah.
Yeah. And then one thing we also do is we want 2 hits. So that puts a little bit of pressure on the person. If they're missing and the next guy's running up, move on. Yeah. You fucked up. Then that's a ding on your score. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're holding people accountable.
So there is a slight time component, but it's not that stressful.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we'll have them do 2 to 3 rotations. They're breathing, but then they get the time resting in line. So I would say it's about a 1 to 2 work to rest ratio. Maybe even 1 to 3, honestly. Do 3 rotations of that. Powwow, how'd it go? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, I saw, like, why don't you work on this? We kind of like work out some minor details that they were missing, that they might have been forgetting because of the physical stress.
Yeah.
And then I wish you could have seen it. You'll see it next time. We have so much land out there. We already have just barriers all over the place. We'll be like, all right, you guys go ahead, stand by. We'll all go to a different barrier next time. Go. They go to my boy Braden. Braden tells them, hey, this time he's on a window. They're shooting. They get to me. This time it's on one of those tank traps. It's just completely variable.
Fun. I mean, this is stuff that people see out there in the world all the time, the different barriers, the different things that people can shoot around and ranges they can shoot on and people moving and doing different things. I think what I'm taking away from this is like the nuance pieces. Like you just said 1 to 2 to 1 to 3, work to rest ratios.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of coaches think that way. It's more you gotta get your hits. Things tend to be sped up, right? That's when the stress level goes up, people turn they tend to want to speed things up. And I'm talking about the coaches.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's like there's this excitement or adrenaline factor that kicks in and it's go faster when things need to be slowed down. There are parts where you can speed it up because it's very controlled. If you're running, right? Like, obviously, you don't want to be running beyond your ability where you're going to fall down on your face. But if you do that, then, well, now you know. You ran beyond your ability. You should slow it down next time. The point of this is there are parts that you can speed up and parts that you can slow down. And with the quality over quantity piece, having enough people there to monitor and coaching people through each stage, it allows you to do that. But to your point, that's not how a lot of instructors are working. Like they're often working solo, or they have like kind of one person on the team working with them. So it's like, we have to get through this drill so that I can get on to the next drill. So circling all the way back to the beginning, that was not a concern today. Like there was a plan when we got on the range, and there was flexibility in the plan. Again, we ran into a couple of things, so we had to manage things a little bit differently. But the drills that we did, there were basically 2 very specific drills. And we worked on those for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it felt like 30 minutes. Like, I mean, it went so fast.
That was a great session.
It was a really great session.
Yeah.
We were really moving through there, but we got tons of things done in a very controlled amount of time. And there was a lot of quality that went into that. I learned a lot about. I'm shooting for you. I mean, you guys can probably hear Cody, the huge Labrador, in the background.
My
if you guys
lady's probably home, and he goes,
"Sorry about that." Yeah, he's really excited. But the quality over quantity piece and the time we were able to take for feedback. And I was working on a new platform today. I had not used it. I put maybe 75 rounds through it yesterday and came in today. Hats off to Aaron down at Cobalt for setting me up with a new upper. I had to kind of work through a few things, right? And we still had plenty of time to work on the basics, and we moved a little bit. We had fun, and I was challenged in that amount of time in 2 basic, when I say basic, just they were challenging, but it wasn't anything super fancy, right?
Yeah.
And there was
all we really worked was presenting the rifle and doing this properly with a solid grip, and presenting the pistol, doing this properly with a good posture.
It's the same thing.
That's it.
It's the same stuff that most people need to be working on. Again, so going back to the social media thing, and what I see you guys doing so well is you guys aren't trying to do anything else but that. Right? There's showing, here's all the things we're capable of, but when we're talking and, you're talking about breaking away for this little discussion on, hey, I was trying this and this is what I learned. You might turn that into like, hey, just a reminder, like this is what we teach people in terms of presentation, grip, trigger press, those kind of things. Most people need to be working that stuff more.
Yes.
I'm proof positive of that today. Like, I train probably on average once per month now, out like live fire out on the range. I could always be doing more dry fire, but everything that we did, again, as I'll just use the word again, as basic as it was very challenging for me. It challenged me in a really good way. So if we add the fitness component to it, like I would like to think I'm above average at that stuff, but I can tell you, like, I would have been that much more challenged in those 2 things. So as instructors go, they go out there and they have all of these things that they want to cover on a particular day and a particular lesson plan. I find that oftentimes the best classes I go to are the ones where like kind of less is more. Like we get into the shooting quickly, right? There's not a ton of talking. We talk about the things we need to talk about. We get to the shooting. The coaching is happening from the line. It's not necessarily. Sometimes, again, you need to present the framework for the day. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how you're going to get the most out of this. Then once we're there, you prep me for all the things we're going to do. Now let's go shoot.
Yeah.
Right? And then we go practice those skills.